is a paid program. Views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of CBS Radio, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Harry Glanz.
What's up? Good morning, Harvey.
Hey,
How you doing?
good morning. What's happening out there, Harry?
Yeah, our boy Alex is on vacation today, huh?
Hey, just taking a little Saturday off. No big deal.
Must be nice. I'd like to get a job where he works.
All right. Well, we have some of those jobs available.
I do.
That's
okay.
You do work there.
Sorry about that.
Hey, that's right. We're with Capital Mortgage Funding, and you can call Capital all day long today. They're the sponsors of the show at 1-800-LOW-RATE. Today we bring in a special
What do you mean
guest.
they are the sponsors? What are you?
We.
Where are you? You said they are.
Well, that's okay.
Okay, everybody. Harvey's a mortgage guy, not a radio guy. He works there, too.
Yes, I am there.
Okay,
That's where
good.
you'll
Thank
find
you. Appreciate
me
it.
all week long.
They sponsor.
Ronald Thompson, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Great. When we have a show like today, I promise you, it's going to be extremely informative. I mean, the weather's not great out there. We've had several real estate agents on over the last several weeks.
Yeah, but you can tell we're jacked up because we have an attorney on, and Ronnie Thompson. I call him Ronnie. There's another Ronnie Thompson I coach with, but this is Ronnie Thompson. This guy's been around. This guy went to West Bloomfield High School when Northwestern and Orchard Lake weren't even paved.
Isn't
that right?
That's true.
It is true. You've been around a long time, which is good. You and I are around the same age. You're a little older, but we're about the same age. And when the first time you came to our office, you had a lot of great things to say. You've been around real estate for a very, very long time. That's good. So comment on that.
Well, that's true. I'm a licensed real estate broker, licensed builder, and I've been doing real estate law for probably 26 years after exiting the Marine Corps and coming into civilian practice.
Yeah, so we hooked up right away. You are an extremely well-informed individual, and when you advise people at a real estate closing, what is the role of an attorney at a real estate closing?
Well, that's an interesting question, Harvey, and I would tell you...
Harry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Harry. I would
teasing.
tell you that's a question that different attorneys will give you different answers. My view is the client is hiring me to close the deal. Regardless of whether I'm representing the seller or the buyer, they want that deal to close. They want the house to be sold or bought, and they want to make sure they're protected in the process.
Right. So you review all the documents beforehand, or you sit at the closing and review every word of every document at the closing?
Well, that's sort of a loaded question because most attorneys, as you know, will typically want to go to the closing, and that's, in my mind, a waste of time. I typically ask the people, the mortgage guy, and the real estate people to get me a closing package in advance.
So that is a perfect answer. That's the answer I was fishing for. All the work should be done up front prior to closing, 24 hours, 48 hours prior to closing. You're looking at the documents, and there's no good reason for an attorney to grandstand at a closing. If anything, I love attorneys. I love it when they're at closings, but they should be sitting there guiding the client saying, yep, this is good, this is good, this is good. We're all done in about 25 minutes, right?
Absolutely. And it also makes the closing go smoother because in advance, the buyer or seller already know they're ready to go.
Perfect. There you go, Hart.
A nice little piece of mind to start things off. As I was starting with the show off, really going with asset protection, Ronnie. I mean, you handle, again, having a real estate attorney, you handle lots of different things, wills, estate, executing these wills, how to protect your assets. And when we were just talking generally about wills and estates and asset protection, the first thing you said to me, Harvey, is you said, hey, your house is probably your biggest asset for most families out there. And it's so strange, Ronnie, when we run into families as they're getting to retirement years, they really haven't taken the time to sit down with professionals like you. You guys have an unbelievable office. I went and checked it out with you guys. And just all the knowledge and the competency you guys have there to go over an individual, not worry about getting upfront money and worrying about fees. You're really there to educate. And that's sort of our theme. And that's why I thought you'd be a great fit for our show.
I appreciate that, and that's true.
Good enough. 248-539-9797. We're going to talk about some real estate issues. Mortgage rates continue to be unbelievable. It's making housing extremely affordable. Again, if you haven't checked out where you stand in the world of getting a real approval letter, find out. Home ownership is probably one of the best ways to build some wealth up there. The Southeast Michigan, the 5-county area is just going gangbusters. 2017 has already started off with the lowest inventory, and it's going to turn into a major league problem as we go into the spring, the summer months. Well, we're into the spring months. We're hearing nonstop that the inventory now is down to 2.1 months supply. A normal supply is anywhere between 6 and 12 months. So you better better have a whole bunch of things on your site, including a strong approval letter. Again, we're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Yes, Harry, that's where you can find Harry and myself at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We have a full staff to find out if you can get a real approval letter. Again, we're going to talk a little bit about that later in today's show, about a real approval letter and a strategy when you're out there bidding and there's multiple bids coming in. How do you sort of separate yourself from the pack? And again, we've had lots of real estate agents on over the last few weeks talking about some of these different strategies, and we'll get into that too a little bit.
Well, Harvey, I can't believe somebody would take somebody out in their car, meet them at a house, have 10 houses for them to look at on that particular Saturday and or Sunday, and not have an approval letter in hand. And that's about setting somebody up for success. We talk about all the time, and I know, Ron, you do. You set your clients up for success beforehand, so then when something happens or a big event happens, and in this case when there's somebody who's buying a house, they're all prepared. All the hard work is done, so all they have to do is go out and find that property because they've given your tax returns, your bank statements, check stubs. We've checked everything out already, so when they find that property and we give them the pre-approval letter, and it is a bona fide pre-approval letter because we've run everything and have the underwriter approve it, and it's all automated now, so that's a good thing. So everybody's done. I mean, all you do is identify the house, put the purchase agreement in for 30 or 45 days, and if you need to close in 21 days or 14 days, can it be done? Absolutely can be done, but that's not a normal transaction in Metropolitan Detroit. But Ron, when talking about your clients and setting them up for success, let's say I'm a client of yours and I'm 58 years old or however old I am, and I want to have an estate plan. What are the top 3 things you're going to want to know about me?
Well, I'm going to want to know what your family status is, if you have kids, especially if they're younger kids, because that's a problem without an estate plan, a much bigger one than if you have adult children. I also want to know your asset base and obviously what real estate holdings you have, because as you know, the problem without a good estate plan, if you own real estate, that's going into probate when you pass away, which is not a good thing.
Can't have that. How long does it get tied up in probate?
Well, there's a creditor period that lasts for 5 months, so minimally that period, and obviously if it depends on the attorney that you hire, but I've seen probate matters go on for a year and a half, 2 years. It's a disaster that's completely avoidable.
Yeah, all these things are completely avoidable. How about this, Ronnie? Like the process, like a family needs a comprehensive discussion. So it might start off with just a phone call from one of the children in the family, maybe even mom and dad. But it eventually you get to the point where you do bring in some of the relatives and you sit down and make sure this plan is going to work for everyone. Asset protection is, again, I think it's becoming more and more valuable of a tool as we get into how to keep your wealth. And again, after you go, the government's going to want your money. I mean, you will lose your family fortune. And of course, all the folks here in Michigan, they work so hard. We got a blue collar state. All these years of gaining wealth, paying for your family, working hard. You're wage earners out there. You're putting money away for college, buying cars for your kids and educations. And then just to see it squander away instead of passing that money or even that business along to a family member.
Yeah, but Ron, you don't have to be wealthy to have an estate plan. People hear that word estate, and they think that somebody has so much cash it's going to be unbelievable. But you don't have to be wealthy to have an estate plan. It's just protection, isn't it?
Absolutely, and ultimately, Harry, that's one of the big misnomers is that wealth has something to do with a trust, and it really doesn't. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the most important issues are if you have minor children and or real estate, you really need to trust. Real estate because, it's going into probate by definition. If you look at how you have the options to pass real estate on to heirs, you're either be in a situation of paying tax or going through probate, and the trust avoids both. In terms of minor children, the problem is if you have minor children, there's no way to beneficiary designate assets to a child. So at the end of the day, it's going to go into probate. A guardian is going to be appointed to manage that money. And at 18, the kid's going to get a big birthday present, which is not what most people want. With a trust, you can control and protect those assets from third parties.
By birthday present, for all our people in Radio Land, he means a big tax bill.
Well, and that's true, but I also mean on their 18th birthday, after mom and dad are gone, now they're getting a big check for everything.
Well,
and the question is, where's that money going to go?
Well, you're talking about putting the asset away if the family member passes away, which that's what you're planning for. I mean, it's unbelievable. You have to sit down and have that discussion, right? Or else, if you don't have a plan, things are going to happen. It's a bad situation if you don't have a plan regarding anything, whether you're buying a house, estate planning, tax planning. You have to be prepared for what's going to happen. I know it's a tough situation to bring people in the family together and say, hey, look, here's what we're going to do when you pass away. How do you handle that, Ron?
Well, at the end of the day, like you hit it on the head. Planning is key on anything, whether it be financial planning, tax planning, estate planning. And for me, it's sitting down and not just simply putting together a bunch of documents for a client, whether it be a real estate transaction, estate plan, or something else. It's getting and going to depth with the client and really making sure you understand the big picture and identifying all the issues in their world, not just, again, setting up a trust, but also identifying how do they have real estate structured, how is it titled, how are their insurances in place, what insurance do they have things correctly structured. I mean, I sit down with clients all day long, people that are very intelligent, have a lot of wealth, and when you start asking questions like, why do you have this insurance product, or why do you have this particular investment, they can't answer that question. And again, it goes back to your point, Harry. Without planning, it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, minimize your exposure and find out really what you got going on. It's absolutely, the whole industry is something that's going to explode because, again, we've talked about the baby boomers are getting up to that age, how to protect your assets. Again, if you're young, you got parents getting up there in age, elder law, how to protect the assets so that the money stays in the family. When we come back, that and a whole lot more. Keep it here, 248-539-9797.
The next time you're in Vegas, head to the D Las Vegas. It's not on the Strip. It's in downtown Vegas. The odds are better, the party's bigger, and you'll feel right at home. Book your stay today at thed.com. The D Las Vegas, your home for Detroit sports in Vegas.
Hi, Harry Glanz for Capital Mortgage Funding. Rates are at historic lows, and they're not going down to zero. So what are you waiting for? Call 1-800-LOW-RATE and let our award-winning staff help you save money. If you're looking to purchase a new home, refinance your existing home, and you want to save money, call 1-800-LOW-RATE and take advantage of these historic low rates. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800-LOW-RATE. Capital Mortgage Funding is powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS ID number 2289, Equal Housing Lender.
The Jeep brand presents great moments in the great outdoors. June 14th, the Emmets went to the lake in their Jeep Cherokee with 30 mpg highway, where they survived 3 whole days without Wi-Fi. July 5th, Rob drove his Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever, to the Grand Canyon, where he rode a mule. August 28th, Andrew took his wife camping for the first time in his Jeep Renegade with its available class-exclusive My Sky open-air roof system. Make that the last time. Find your moment at the Jeep Spring Clearance event.
Well-qualified returning FCA employee lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2017 Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 for $229 a month for 36 months with $23.52 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. EPA estimate 2.4-liter front-wheel drive. Actual mileage may vary. Grand Cherokee has received more awards over its lifetime than any other SUV based on Jeep brand small SUV segmentation. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution at lease through Chrysler Capital. Current lease must end by 4/30/18. 25-cent charge for each mile over 30,000. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 4/3. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Imagine what you could get done if everything was 3 times as fast. You could read Moby Dick in 3 hours.
Poor Ahab.
You could watch an entire season of your favorite show in a single afternoon.
How long to the next season?
And you could fit an entire commercial into 30 seconds. Which is why WOW offers 3 times the speed, but without 3 times the price. And now you can get internet plans starting at $29.99 a month. So hurry up and visit Huawei.com to learn more. Offer for new customers and is subject to change. Certain restrictions apply. Visit Huawei.com for service descriptions, terms, and conditions.
You know there's nothing better than watching the tournament with your buddies at your favorite local pub. And you can't argue that a more interesting college basketball experience calls for a more interesting beer. No matter where you choose to watch the game, celebrate with an ice-cold Dos Equis Lager Especial or Dos Equis Amber. Stay thirsty and enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Dos Equis Beer, Cervezas Mexicanas, New York, New York. Respect the game. Don't drink more, drink better.
At Menards, home improvement means saving big because right now you'll get an 11% rebate on everything, even sale prices. Get the ultimate paint technology with Dutch Boy Platinum Interior Paint and Primer in one, featuring a no prep, no prime formula. Flat is just $26.68 after sale price and 11% rebate. Other sizes and finishes are also on sale. Stop waiting and start saving with an 11% rebate on everything, even sale prices now at Menards. Sale ends March 25th. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Today from noon to 2, meet the Ticket Street team at the Novi Backyard Pool and Spa Show at the Suburban Collection Showplace. Check out products and services for your outdoor living, including in-ground and above-ground pools, spas, swim spas, water features, decks, patios, fencing, and much more. Don't watch the tournament alone. Tonight from 9 to 11, meet the street team and the ticket chicks at Scorekeepers on Maynard Street in Ann Arbor. It's a basketball tip-off party for all the madness as your team marches through the tournament. Get more at 971theticket.com.
Do bold and embrace this moment at the Pandora Boutique at Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, with Pandora's Spring Bracelet event. You'll find a whole world of Pandora ready for you to pick out, stack up, and show off. Stop in between March 23rd and March 26th, and you'll receive a free Pandora bracelet with your Pandora purchase of $125 or more. Do shine this spring with Pandora. That's why she went to Jared. While supplies last, some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man vs. Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Check out the Novi Backyard Pool and Spa Show. Where? Novi Suburban Collection Showplace. When? March 24th through 26th. Spas, pools, hot tubs, patio furniture, and more. Visit NoviPoolShow.com. That's NoviPoolShow.com.
Your season ticket to Detroit sports.
97.1 The Ticket.
Welcome back to the show. 9:17 if you're just joining us. Well, I can't say it's the prettiest day out there, but definitely a little bit warmer. Spring is here.
Just when we start building momentum.
Yeah, for
right?
spring
Just when we
buying
start
season,
building
that's
momentum.
for sure. Well, anyways, get out there and definitely call Capital Mortgage, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Get that approval letter if you're out there. We're going to talk about refinancing a little bit later, too, in the show. We brought in Ronald Thompson from Thompson & Stewart, attorneys and counselors. And, Ron, thanks for joining us again. And I went over to the office this week and checked out the boys. Your sons are unbelievable. Not only some of the most educated young guys I've met in a long time, well-spoken. They know what they're selling, the insurance products. I mean, just even the way they presented it to me. I got to be moving. I'm definitely moving some money over to Trevor and all these guys because these guys know exactly what they're doing. And what I like about your office is you guys can touch a little bit on everything. You know, you got the real estate background, the asset protection. And as our family members, our parents are getting older and older, and there's a lot of this whole generation, boy, we know for sure they are not protecting their assets at all. We see it.
Well, ultimately, and as we talked about earlier, the issue with Ronnie and Trevor is it allows me to really do a couple of things. Number one, having my sons there gives me a chance to harass them on a daily basis. But more importantly, it gives some depth to my practice because ultimately I'd like to think I'm going to live forever, but that's not reality. So it gives, Ronnie on the financial side can take care of that issue and Trevor on the legal side takes care of that. But between us, we really do the asset protection piece, Harvey. And as I mentioned earlier, that's really a function of looking at everything and doing correct planning. So when I sit down with a client, I don't want to just look at their trust or their will. I want to look at their financial issues, their insurance holdings, their real estate. Obviously, the ultimate issue on real estate is if they have other holdings, how are those structured? Are those in an LLC? Are those owned by them? Are they owned with their kids? There's tax issues. There's liability issues if that's not structured correctly.
Yeah, I think just definitely the tax issues and the liability issues where people just let it, when there's a problem, you haven't protected yourself recently. And again, it doesn't cost anything to sit down with you guys. So if you're just joining us or listening in, again, give us a call here, 248-539-9797. We'll get you set up with some unbelievable people that are here locally in Southeastern Michigan who handle this kind of stuff for your parents, protecting your family's assets. So many families are just still not involved in getting their family set up, whether it be even long-term care. We see long-term care is coming into play as many of our the baby boomer generation is definitely getting up there. You just want mom and dad to be protected. You want them to be comfortable in life. And again, there's another piece that we're involved with is the reverse mortgage. And of course, we don't have Brian in the office. We do have a reverse mortgage specialist in our office, and he sits down with the families. And again, it's never just mom coming in or dad coming in. We bring in the whole family typically and get an in-depth conversation about, does this program work for you guys? Is this something that your family's going to be able to do that's going to protect their asset?
So I'm going to ask you the next loaded question, which I have a tendency to do to our guests, and they really love me for it. What's your stance on reverse mortgages now? Reverse mortgages are not the same product they were 10, 12 years ago. How do you feel about them now?
Well, Harry, let me answer that question more globally. I'm a huge fan of mortgages. Why? Because it's an asset protection piece. What most people don't really appreciate And of course, it's an emotional discussion. We talk to somebody in their 50s or 60s who's either just paying off their house or getting ready to pay it off, and you say, that's a bad idea. And they say, why is that? And I say, well, give me 2 minutes and a whiteboard and I'll show you. But the short answer is it's a bad financial decision because most people don't think about the fact that, for example, on your primary residence, if you're paying 3%, 4%, 5% on a mortgage, you got a tax deduction there. So that's not anywhere close to what you're paying. So it's a bad financial decision. But more importantly, now that asset is exposed. As an attorney and a litigator, the first thing I want to know is what a defendant's assets are. And if he owns a house outright or a building outright,
you're going after them.
I'm going after that. If it's leveraged, then it's not really touchable. I mean, I own a commercial building in Northville, as you gentlemen know. I also own my house, and it's fully leveraged, and it'll stay that way till I die. Reverse mortgage on the other side of that is a great option because for older people, it gives them an opportunity to keep their house, stay in their house, not have a mortgage payment. And again, the leverage is there, and now they have money out of the house. It's not sitting there.
That's a strong answer. How do you feel when a mortgage guy like Harry Glenn says to you, you know something, I want to do what's best for my client, and if my client wants to lay their head down on their pillow at night and have a house that's free and clear, which might not be the best financial situation, as you pointed out, no tax deduction, they're not leveraged or protected, but I say to them, you know what, if you want to lay your head down on your pillow at night and it makes you feel good to not have a mortgage payment, which is unusual for a mortgage guy to say, I'll say to the client, you have to do what is comfortable for you. What's the counter to that?
Well, again, it's hard having those emotional decisions. But again, the issue of laying your head on the pillow at night, going to the reverse mortgage issue, that lets you do that because number one...
And fill your asset bucket, right? Fill one of the other buckets.
Absolutely. Because now you have cash in the bank that you can use for retirement, additional income, additional options for investment, and now your house is fully protected.
Good. There you go. That's what I wanted to hear.
All right, we got open lines here, 248-539-9797. Wanted to throw in the piece about debt consolidation. That's right. Many of us have now some built-in equity in the homes, which is really making things great. The lack of inventory continues to drive up home prices again all over Southeast Michigan. We're going to see it this year. And they're predicting even this following coming up by the end of 17 and 2018, anywhere between 3 and 5%. So how do you use that equity to benefit yourself? Well, take a look. If you're continuously paying credit card debt, if you're not paying off your monthly obligations, these credit card debts are anywhere between 10 and 25% often on the interest. So again, find out if you have a little bit of equity in your house. There could be 3 or 4 different great reasons on why you want to refinance a house. One could be to do some debt consolidation. 2 could be to remove the PMI, the private mortgage insurance, or the mortgage insurance you might even have on your FHA loan. Find out again, do you have enough equity where there's a program out there that can save you money? And it all adds up, Ronnie. We talk about it. If you can save $50 to $100 a month, boy, at the end of the year, there's a significant amount of money that can be used for investment purposes or even to set up these trusts. They don't take a whole lot of money. We talk about irrevocable trust and irrevocable trust and revocable trust. We'll get into a little bit of that, too.
So, Ron, what we try to do, and Harvey and I have been doing this on this radio show for 17 years long with Alex, and we try to tell people, like you just pointed out, trying to set people up for success, protecting people, but there is 2 kinds of debt. There's toxic debt, and there's debt that's going to help you out in terms of protecting you and giving you a little tax benefit and freeing up your cash, and that's called mortgage debt. So what we try to do with people that are running up 18% credit cards, and the key is they can't do it again, we'll take cash out of their house, we'll pay off the credit card debt, roll them into a 4.25%, 4.5% mortgage, maybe free up some other cash to give to their investment counselor, investment advisor to invest so they can gain more than 4.5% on it. The key, though, Ron, is what? It's called don't run up your credit cards anymore. You got to cut them up. You can use them for emergencies or day-to-day, but you should pay them off on a monthly basis or just don't use them because you cannot use your house as a cash machine. If you're constantly trying to pull cash out and you're running that up, it just does not make sense to me.
Well, that's true. But again, going back to what the process that we do is part of the planning is looking at their mortgage and what they have in terms of finances. And you're absolutely right. You know, there was an interesting survey done many years ago or study where they looked at people that are extremely wealthy and tried to find consistencies. And there was only one consistency in all those people, and that was they used other people's money. They used leverage heavily. So I'm a huge fan of leverage because that's a key to success. And the house is a great way to do it because most people don't think about their house as an investment. They think about it as a place to live, but it's really both. It's a place to live and it's an investment. And it's going to grow if it's the right house and the right investment. It's going to grow. And why not use somebody else's money, especially when you can take that money and put it elsewhere and do more with it?
Yeah, lots of great things you can do. Again, if you just want to join the show, 248-539-9797. Tax season is definitely here. You only got even a few weeks left before you're going to have to do that extension. If you're a homeowner, if you're not a homeowner, find out the sizable deduction. Boy, when you talk to first-time homeowners and they're sitting down with their CPAs or attorneys this year to do their tax returns, they have these sizable deductions they never had before. That's right. Mortgage interest, the taxes, the mortgage insurance in some cases. These all add up and can give you a tremendous tax deduction. And again, we're talking about you keep the money in your back pocket. That money can be used to do lots of great things in the future, including funding a long-term disability plan, including sending your kids to college and a whole lot more. That music says we're up against a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to all your calls, 248-539-9797.
This is Thad Zott with Zott M59 Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram and dealsinthed.com. Jeff, I cannot believe our spring clearance event is almost over. Are you feeling any better?
I am, Thad, but these deals are still sick. And you only have 1 week to deal. 1 week to deal.
1 week to deal? Then hurry up and show them the deals.
Right now, you can lease a loaded 2017 Compass or Patriot for just $99 a month.
$99?
You know it. Or how about a new Chrysler 300S all-wheel drive for just $199?
Nice.
A new Grand Cherokee for $229 or a 2017 Pacifica for just $249 a month.
You sure you're feeling okay? Those deals are sick.
Oh, yeah. But are you ready for this? How about a new Jeep Wrangler just in time for summer for just $249 a month? And we're not talking about 3 or 4 Wranglers to choose from. We have over 200 in stock.
200 Wranglers? That rocks.
1 week to deal.
Dealsinthed.com.
Get there.
See dealer for details.
There's savings, and then there's big savings. The kind of savings you can always find at your neighborhood Kroger. With low prices and delicious choices, plus personalized coupons and ClickList to help you shop and save anytime from anywhere. So you get more for less at Kroger.
This week, bring home fresh ground chuck for just $1.99 a pound, sold in a 3-pound package. And whole cantaloupes are only 88 cents each with Plus Card at Kroger.
The digital savings event at Kroger is back. Right now, you can download digital coupons and use them up to 5 times, which saves you more on family favorites like select cartons of Edie's ice cream. With digital coupon, they're 2 for just $5. And select varieties of Nabisco snack crackers are $1.99 each with Plus Card. Stock up and save at the digital savings event. Just use the Kroger app or visit Kroger.com to download your digital coupons today. Fresh food, low prices at Kroger.
Hi, I'm Doug Manns with Manns Lumber and Millwork, and I'm here with Chris Gerhardt, the Vice President of Sales for Trex.
Hi, Doug, and thank you for helping us grow a Trex business here in Michigan. Your team has done a great job.
It's our pleasure. And Trex is the way to go for sure, if anyone's thinking about replacing or building a new deck.
That's true. Trex decking won't rot, warp, or give you splinters, and we have over 18 colors to choose from.
And best of all, you will never have to stain your deck again, ever.
And Manns Lumber has a team of certified Trex Pro Platinum installers that are all pre-screened and qualified to help people build the deck they've always dreamed of.
We have a list of Trex Pro Platinum installers on our website, and you can schedule an appointment with them right now at manslumber.com.
Or you can stop in any of Manns showrooms and pick up some Trex samples, free of charge.
I want to thank our customers, our employees, and our installers for helping make Manns the #1 Trex dealer in the state of Michigan.
Well, actually, Doug, Manns is one of the largest Trex dealers in the country.
Manns Lumber and Millwork, doing it right for 116 years.
What if you could sell your home for 18% more money? What if you only had a one-day listing contract where if you weren't happy, you could cancel it at any time? What if your realtor would guarantee that your home will sell at a price and deadline that's acceptable to you, or he'll step up and buy it himself? Hi, my name's Mark Z with Keller Williams, and that's all part of the Z Guarantee. If you're not happy, fire me. I'm not bragging, I'm applying for the job. Call me, Mark Z, today, or go to soldbymarkz.com and start packing.
Call 844.
This is Dean's yard, and Dean's a pretty observant guy, but sneaky crabgrass lurks undetected until it rears its hideous head this summer. However, Dean's not only observant, he's smart. He uses Scott's Turf Builder Holtz Crabgrass Preventer with lawn food in early spring. It protects against crabgrass all season long, while feeding the lawn for a fast green-up. Guaranteed. So this spring, Dean can stop crabgrass dead in its crab tracks. This is a Scott's yard. Pick up Scott's Turf Builder Holtz today.
IHOP is taking delicious to the next level with our warm, bakery-inspired cinnamon roll French toast.
Or try our delicious new sticky bun waffles and red velvet French toast. So get into an IHOP and eat up every moment. Limited time at participating restaurants.
Sports news all day, every day. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by O'Reilly's. Red Wings falling overtime at home to Tampa Bay. Final score 2-1. Henrik Zetterberg, the only goal scorer for Detroit. NCAA Elite 8 is all set. Number 7 Gamecocks of South Carolina get through the 70-50 round of 3-seed Baylor in New York. Chris Chiazza nails a triple. 1 second left in the extra session. Florida edges Wisconsin 84-83. It was North Carolina 92, Butler 80, and number 2 Kentucky takes down UCLA 86-75. Tigers over the Braves in 10-3-2. Matt Boyd 5 scoreless innings, scattering 3 hits, but J.D. Martinez, he's out 3 to 4 weeks with a right foot injury. Pistons get hammered in Orlando by the lowly Magic 115-87. They've lost 6 of 7 and 3 in a row. They're a game and a half on that final playoff spot in the East. At the Ticket Update desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1theticket.com.
Winners and losers are welcome here.
97.1 The
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us at Capital, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. You're going to save money on closing costs, get a great interest rate, and not only that, the knowledge that you get is the key. The knowledge gives you the confidence to make some great decisions, and it's a tough market out there. You need to have more professionals in your pocket. You need to have more knowledge in your pocket, and you need to have a real approval letter. That way you know exactly what's ahead of you. Again, call Capital at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Let's move off to some calls here live in the studio. We've got Wes calling in from Commerce. You guys going to hit that for me? All right, we got it. Wes, you're live on the ticket. Go ahead, sir.
How you guys doing?
Morning, Wes. How are you?
Good. Hey, I got a question. My wife and I are looking at buying a house, and you guys are 100% right about the market. It's been a struggle to find something.
Yeah.
My question is on who's required to give disclosures on a house. The house we're buying was bought by a real estate agent out of a foreclosure. And he went in the house and he's done work. But he's telling my realtor that when we ask for disclosures that he's exempt.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually, because he never lived in the property. The seller's disclosure form is not required that he would fill that out, which, puts a little bit more burden on you, the buyer in this case. You're going to definitely want to set up better and more inspections on the house. It's a great conversation, Wes, because, a renter or a landlord, an investor who just bought a house does not live in the property, and they don't have to fill out that yes and no question form. The form is very informative, and people are held accountable to it if it's not filled out correctly. However, in this case, it won't be a tool that you'll be able to use.
But Wes, what is it that you're looking for specifically with regard to disclosures or disclosing on that property? What do you want to know about it?
When we'd walked in the house, we'd noticed it's got a full finished basement, and there's 2 good-sized windows in the basement, and they'd redone the wall, the drywall,
okay,
which raised some questions, and you could see on the wood trim around the glass there was like some water damage.
Yep.
But everything had been replaced around the main window and the wall, like below the window.
So what you need to do, you need to hire a licensed, bonded, and insured inspector to go in and take a look at it, and they'll spend a good 3.5 to 4.5 hours inspecting that house.
Yeah, I'd like it actually a little bit more even detail to so families are hiring home inspection companies. And the reason why is most of the homes out there have other families that are living in them. So there's a short window when your offer gets accepted between 7 and 10 business days where you're told that you should hire some jack of all trades. And I'm not saying they're not good ones out there. There's plenty of great ones. But they are a master of all trades for $350 to $500 that are going to go out there and check all these different systems, heating and cooling, plumbing, electrical, foundation work, your roof. It's a lot to burden on one person. How about now that the house is vacant, you have the right. Why don't you call the seller and say, hey, it's no problem. I get that. No problem. Now you can call a foundation. I'll just throw one company, a foundation company, whether it be that FSF SM company here, Foundation Systems of Michigan, or several of the other ones here locally. They're professionals. They come out and tell you exactly what's going on in the house. Also, why not the same day call a roofing guy, an electrician, a heating and cooling guy? I would rather pay a heating and cooling guy to come and clean the furnace real quick and take a nice look at it for $75 And then you got Roto-Rooter can come out, and I'm throwing a lot of plugs to these companies. They can come out and do a sewer line inspection for $99. So far, you've got your sewer line protected. Now you've got your the heating and cooling. Now an electrician can come out there. Maybe he only charges you a $75 fee. I think when you add up all these different professionals, you'll find that you're about $400 or $500, and you're just not hiring one jack of all trades. You're actually hiring real professionals to come out there, and they can give you some real great information, a lot better than a piece of paper.
And Wes, if I can...
Do you still have to have... If they did all that with all the different guys,
yeah.
I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
Why not?
Do I still have to have a home inspector?
No.
Quote unquote?
No, that's up to you.
Yeah, that's up to you.
I wouldn't buy a property without having it inspected by somebody.
Right.
But absolutely not. You just can't go bare. You can't go naked and buy a house. It's the largest investment you're going to make in your life.
Wes, and it's a conversation I had yesterday with some great real estate agents. Again, do you hire one person because you're in a time constraint and there's another family living there, and you're forced to hire maybe one individual? If they find something, if that individual finds something, and he can maybe say to you, hey, look, definitely get a foundation guy out here. There's definitely some evidence of water in the basement. There's been some work done. And if the seller doesn't want to be forthright in giving you that information, knock on a neighbor's door. Maybe they have information about the house that it was flooded. But I love the idea of hiring individual inspection people to come to that property. They'll get out there and do the professional job that they're hired to do.
And Wes, if I can chime in as the attorney in the mix, what I would also tell you is that I also recognize that a lot of times not having a seller's disclosure is a blessing in disguise. And I'll tell you why, because people have a tendency to rely heavily on that document. The reality is the Seller's Disclosure Act is what's called a statute without a remedy, meaning it basically requires a seller to make disclosures, but then if they do it fraudulently or falsely or misrepresent something, your option is really to hire a lawyer, spend a whole lot of money. It's probably going to end up costing you more money than it's worth. Ultimately, if you, as Harvey and Harry mentioned, if you go get really good inspectors, look at that property and get your own view of what's going on there, you're much better off. And at the end of the day, you're going to save yourself a lot of money down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
All great advice. All great advice. Good stuff. Congratulations on the purchase of this home. Is it going to be your primary residence?
It is.
Oh, good. Hey, Wes, I'm going to follow up with a call and see if I can help you with the mortgage. Maybe it can help save you some mortgage on that money on the mortgage side of things. So thank you for the call.
All right.
Appreciate it. Hey, actually, one of our real estate agents who often comes on the show, Derek Bauer, just sent me a text, and he said the same thing. He said, Harvey, home inspectors are not required to have licenses in Michigan. Now, we've had home inspectors on that have some
that's why
accreditations
on the
and
onset
stuff.
we say we want to get them licensed, bonded, and insured. It doesn't. You don't have to, but the bottom line is why would you hire someone that's not licensed?
Well, I like what he said. Pick wisely. In other words, that's where you're asking your real estate agents, hey, is this someone you've referred a lot? Did you refer them recently in the last year? Can I call a couple of those people to find out? Good and bad on those home inspections. Again, a great inspector is really key, whether it be specific to that, a roof inspector or whatever.
And also, in the last 3, 4, 5 years, all you have to do is take a look out the window today. Basements have flooded. Okay, yeah. You're going to get some water in a basement. That doesn't mean that there's a problem with the house. It just means maybe the drainage. You have to take a look at that. When you hire an inspector, they're going to walk the outside of the house as well as spend a lot of time on the inside of the house taking a look at it. It matters what remedies have been put in place. If somebody did have a problem in that basement, did they fix it? Did they fix it properly? Okay, also take a look at if a house the basement was finished, did they pull permits? Or did they do it on the sly?
Yeah, right.
If the city has the permit pulled, chances are the city inspected it. They inspected the electrical and everything, the plumbing, if there's a finished bathroom down there. If somebody did it on the sly, it might be a little tougher to check out. So bottom line is you have to have something, unless you're really good at it. Even if you're really good at it, you're caught up in the emotional situation of buying that house. You might overlook some things where an inspector, third party, has no emotion tied into inspecting that house. They're going to tell you up front what's going on with the house.
Yeah, due diligence is really key there.
I would not buy a property without having it inspected.
There you go.
And to Harvey's point, I just add in that in terms of licensing, you're absolutely right. And that's a big problem I see with a lot of home inspectors, because they might have been doing something else, possibly, making coffee to 7-Eleven. All of a sudden they get their weekend course, and next thing you know, they're a home inspector. So on the license issue, I typically like to see a licensed builder who has some experience building homes, or somebody that's coming highly recommended that you've got friends or acquaintances have used in the past that have done a great job.
Yeah, a lot of these, and we so often talk about these home inspection companies, and again, what's underneath the ground we can't see. What's above the ground they can see. So the sewer line inspections are still very popular, especially in the older communities. Of course, in the Four Seasons here in Michigan, that that 10-foot pear tree that's in front of your house now will have roots, and one day will be a 50-foot pear tree. So it's key just to find out what's going on underneath that sewer line inspections. We've had some of those issues come up. Having a backhoe and a company come up there for that repair job's $4,000 to $10,000, even sometimes a lot more money. And again, for $99, I think some of the local plumbing companies will run a camera down there and give you an honest look and an opinion of if that's a functioning system, if it's something that's going to be needing a lot of money in the future. So we had that other situation too, Ron, that came up where you were just telling me a gentleman that you had someone give you a phone call on the real estate law side, and it's a VA loan, and he has to get a VA septic inspection done for the make sure the well and the septic are good there, and the seller won't let him do it. The seller flat out won't let him do that. And then what was your answer on that?
Well, again, my problem with a lot of attorneys is that a lot of times they'll take on work and they'll bill the client, and there's no real value there. To me, I want to make sure that the client's going to get value. So in that particular case, I told the individual, listen, I can charge a couple $100 to write a letter, but this guy is going to basically look at that letter and ignore it. And we're not going to file a circuit court action to force the sale and spend thousands of dollars. So I told the guy, listen, as much as you don't want to hear this, I think you just move on, walk away from this property and find another place and engage in that.
Yeah, if the seller doesn't allow you to do an inspection of the house, usually it's a red flag that there's something wrong with that system. In that case, it could be a septic system. It could cost anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000. But if he's getting a VA mortgage and its requirement is to have that inspection and certified that says that septic field is all fine and dandy, you can't close without it, and he might just be forced to move on and then go find another property. Again, he might be out his appraisal money. He might be out a few $100s. Then he can either bark up that chair or just decide to move on and go find another property. All right, tons of information to share with you. If you would like to join the show, 248-539-9797. We talked about it earlier. Tax season is upon us. If you haven't filed your return and you have some money coming back, boy, it only takes a little bit of money to become a homeowner. Find out about our 0 down programs, 3% down programs, and a whole lot more. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
It's a great time to call Detroit home. I'm Dylan Larkin, Red Wing and Detroit native. Before the Wings say farewell to the Joe, Chevrolet is offering tickets to see the team take the ice at an upcoming home game. Chevrolet, official vehicle of the Red Wings.
Northville Lumber's happy to announce the opening of their Novi Home Design Center. If you have a vision for your remodel or need a little inspiration, you must come for a visit. The beautiful showroom is full of inspiration with windows, doors, siding, trim, decking, and hardware, all tested to be the best and backed by the experts at Northville Lumber. Come to the Novi Home Design Center on the southeast corner of Novi and 9 Mile Roads. The Novi Home Design Center. Let them help envision your home improved. Visit NoviHomeDesignCenter.com.
Every morning is different for everybody. Nate gets up for the early shift, while Brad is just getting home from the night shift. Pam runs a PR and a 5K, while Drew runs late to work. Beth proposes a road trip to her boyfriend, while Mark proposes to his girlfriend. Luckily, there's a McDonald's for every morning.
Make morning great. Right now at McDonald's, enjoy a freshly cracked egg on your sausage McMuffin with egg sandwich. Pair it with any size McCafe coffee for just $1. Limited time only, a la carte only.
Your morning routine has been so routine. Wake up and go to work. Well, change it up. Wake up and go to McDonald's for a delicious McCafe coffee. It's just $1. Wake up and win the day. Get any size coffee freshly brewed every 30 minutes for $1. Or delicious small mocha, latte, or hot chocolate for $2. Buy 5 McCafe beverages and get 1 free on our app. For a limited time, $1 any size hot coffee. Only valid for a la carte offers. McCafe Rewards is valid through 12/31/17 and participating U.S. McDonald's. Price and participation may vary.
No one markets your home more aggressively than me and my team. We spend more money on marketing your home in a single month than most agents spend all year. And that gets results. This is Realtor Jeff Glover. Want to see your home listed on the first first page of Google, Zillow, Yahoo, or see your home for sale on a billboard? Those are just a few of the things we can do for you. But don't just take it from me.
I'm Chuck Howard, and my wife and I use Jeff to sell a home in Royal Oak and buy one in Rochester Hills. Jeff takes the home selling and buying process to the next level. He's methodical, organized, and strategic. He knows how to get it done.
Homeowners who sell their homes with Jeff get an average of 98% of their asking price and sell their homes in an average of 23 days. Call Jeff Glover today at 855-JEFF-SELLS. Whether your home is in Novi, Shelby Township, Brighton, Birmingham, Clarkston, or Ann Arbor, Jeff Glover will get it sold. Call Jeff at 855-JEFF-SELLS or online at 855jeffsells.com. Realtor Jeff Glover. A household name. Jeff Glover is affiliated with Keller Williams Realty.
Spring, it's finally here. Time to clean things up and get back on target. Cabela's Spring Great Outdoor Days. Family events, amazing deals. Your one stop before the range. Save over 20% on PMC 223 rifle ammo. Get $40 off Federal 5.56 bulk ammo and $75 off Smith & Wesson M&P Shield pistols. Plus, find more great deals on over 20,000 items throughout the store. Don't miss out. Shop in-store or online at Cabela's.com.
Come to Northville Lumber. Let's get started.
Dan Petrie here. If you want to add some low-maintenance style to your backyard this summer with a new Trex deck, do what I do and call my friends at Northville Lumber. Northville Lumber has Trex decking as low as $1.79 per foot and stocks more Trex inventory than anyone in the Midwest. Don't wait. Call Northville Lumber now or go to northvillelumber.com.
Come to Northville Lumber. Let's get started.
This year, 97 won the Tickets Opening Day Block Party, presented by Greektown Casino, is giving you more of everything you come to Opening Day for. More big screens to watch the game, more food tents and food trucks, and more beer. In fact, there will be a craft beer garden featuring brews from Michigan's own Bell's Brewery. And in response to that, we definitely will have more porta-johns. So make sure you explore all of Grand Circus Park on Opening Day. If you leave hungry or thirsty, then you just didn't try hard enough. The Opening Day Block Party at Grand Circus Park, sponsored by Weingarts, Bell's Brewery, and DTE Energy. Know your own power.
The baseball team that Detroiters love most. The Detroit Tigers live here.
Hey, we'll throw this out at you. If you're just joining us, it is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Again, call Capital 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Get your approval letter in hand. If you haven't refinanced a house or even taken a look at debt consolidation, call us 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We've got lots of programs at the office, including one of our latest programs we've had over the years has been our business owner program, the Affinity program, which means as a business owner, human resource manager, you can give us a phone call and we set up these unbelievable benefit packages for all of your employees. It's free to you. Just call Capital Mortgage. Bobby Efros handles it at our office. Call Capital and we'll get you all set up at 1-800-LOW-RATE. Again, lots of things we offer here to everyone in the community, including Ronald Thompson. And Ron, you know, it's great to have always a real estate attorney. Now I've got you, someone I can call and confide in, and your whole team. And there's just so much information out there. Earlier we were talking about estate planning and asset protection. So that's still on the table for all these families out there. Be sure to give us a call at Capital Mortgage and we'll get you set up with the right people. What I like about you is, like you said, you just don't need to worry so much about billing people. You are not that person who is so worried about wasting someone else's money. You would rather give some knowledge and advice that helps someone do the right thing.
Absolutely, Harvey. And going back to something you said at the beginning of the show, I wanted to address, which you and Harry were talking about, the idea of actually having a mortgage in hand and a commitment in advance of going and looking at real estate. And again, preparation is key. And I absolutely agree with you, because on the real estate side, I see clients going in, they put in an offer on a house, then they have to start the mortgage process at that point. If they're not using a company like Capital Mortgage Funding, they're going to get somebody that's not proactive, and it's going to waste time, and sometimes the deal is going to fall through as a consequence of not having that. So that's key. Our process at Thompson Stewart and at Financial Strategies Group on the financial side with my son Trevor Stewart and my other son Ronnie Thompson is we are all about education and preparation. So we sit down with a client, gratis. We want to find out what's their family situation, what's their financial situation, what's their insurance situation, what's their real estate situation, what's their tax situation. Take a look at all those things gratis. Spend several sessions really going through that, doing some comprehensive reviews on everything, and coming back and saying, here's where there's cracks in your foundation, here's where you're doing things great, here's some areas for improvement. If they want to do something with us, that's great. If they don't want to do something with us, that's fine. But they're going to go away with an education and a clear understanding of where they have issues.
Yeah, the terms they use out there, these bidding wars and highest and best, this is what is going on in Southeast Michigan. One of the callers earlier today actually said the same thing. And so often the families out there that need to sell their house, 1 in 4 families, they're actually afraid here that they're not going to be able to find something to move into. So you really have to have that whole strategy set up. The prices continue to escalate. Do you want to have someone representing you who understands how to put together an escalation clause on your offer? Would you be waiving any contingencies? Are you willing to give up days of occupancy to a lot of the buyers or the sellers out there? If there is a house on the market and you notice they have kids in school, there's a good possibility they need to hang in there after closing for 30 or 60 days. So again, we first start off with a fully underwritten approval letter, which gives you the strength and the knowledge. You already know your mortgage banker's got your back. You know that you can close a transaction in a timely manner. And then all the other things. Will you have someone who, you're a real estate agent. Is this someone who's aggressive and confident and has the knowledge to go ahead and present some offers and really make the offer get accepted on your behalf? So.
Well, not to put a plug in for myself on the real estate side, but the one thing I would tell you, in addition to making sure you've got a good mortgage company like Capital Funding going in and getting that commitment letter going into the transaction, but you also need to have a competent real estate attorney. The problem is there's a lot of attorneys out there. A lot of attorneys think they know something about real estate. They don't have a background, and they go in and frankly try to rationalize their fee by finding issues and blowing up the deal. For me, it's a function of looking at all the issues, making sure a client understands what they're doing, and covering the issues. Because ultimately, for example, I had a case the other day where I got a call and the individual had basically closed on a property and come to find out that there was actually 2 parcels. One of the parcels was not on the PA. And of course, now the title company didn't insure over that. And now they had to go back to the seller and kind of beg and plead, can we have the other parcel? Which, interestingly, the house was on 2 parcels. So technically, they are now encroaching on the seller's continued owned property. So luckily, we were able to resolve that issue. But had I been involved in that transaction or a competent real estate attorney, would identify that immediately. That was an absolute disaster waiting to happen. And thank God the seller was cooperative, because otherwise he could have had to pay a second purchase price to get that second parcel.
It's such a great story. I had that earlier last year happen to me. Now my clients own the property next door for $1 because they had the right mortgage banker involved. Folks, I'm telling you, and their real estate agent was in the business for 40 years. I don't want to even go down that road. Anyhow, let's move off to Lisa in South Lyon. Hey, Lisa, thanks for calling in. Good morning and welcome to our show. Hey, Lisa, there? Lisa from South Lyon, can you hear me? All right, we'll put you back on hold there, Lisa. That's okay. Let's move off to... Actually, I'm going to go about getting yourself prepared for home ownership. Actually, we'll come back to you, Lisa, there. Definitely want to hear from you in our phone calls, or we have lots of open lines. 248-539-9797. I had it written down here talking about getting that approval letter, is talking about getting your ducks in a row and getting your documentation together. Again, if you had a bankruptcy in the past, those bankruptcy papers, the petition and the full discharge, those are needed if you're within, typically, even if you're past the 7-year period on your bankruptcy and your discharge, be sure to keep all your documents together. Also, families out there, if you haven't filed your 2016 tax returns and you're thinking, Harry, about using that income, you have to go ahead and file those tax returns. They have to be processed by the IRS, and then we have to be able to receive a transcript on it. Again, there are things leading up to April 15th here that you could do to protect yourself.
Well, now's the time of year where people are preparing their taxes and hopefully getting in by the April 15th, which is April, I want to say 17th or 18th deadline this year. But what we do is we have to verify that the taxes have been filed with the IRS on a form called a 4506T or transcript document. We send that document into the IRS to make sure what you have filed complies with what they have received. So there is this interim period of time right now between now and the filing date where we have to go ahead and check it. Please go ahead and get your taxes done. We will need that. We'll need those documents and all the disclosures that go along with that. Also, there are mortgage programs, Harvey, where we can go ahead and take somebody that's self-employed, use 1 year of taxes with an updated profit and loss. And, we're going to go ahead and verify those as well. We'll go back to 2015 and verify that with the IRS as well.
Right, exactly.
We're in that interim period of time now where we have meetings all day, every day, and say, hey, listen, We are going to check people's transcripts. We have to have it done. We can't close a loan without it. But guess what? There are other remedies that we can take. So we're there.
We talked about inventory. Actually, we've been talking about it for weeks. It's going to be the talk of all of 2017 with the lack of inventory out there. And one of the things we're definitely finding is that it's generally on the homes, anywhere from starter homes. We see it between, let's call it 50,000 on the low side, generally through about 400 to 500,000. That's where the competition is extremely heavy. There is a 9-month supply of homes if you're in the price range between $500,000 and $1 million. So again, if you're in competition, you want to sell one of those homes, make sure you have your house presented properly by hiring all the great professional real estate agents that are in Southeast Michigan. There is a big difference between the ones that are the pros and the ones that are not, which leads me to what you said, Ronnie, is there's not a lot of real estate attorneys that actually practice and specialize in real estate law. And that's an entity that is a specific business itself, and there's a lot of things you need to know. And again, it's not about just blowing up the deal. And I think that's what some people think. It's about protecting yourself at the beginning so you don't have to spend thousands of dollars because you did something wrong on the house.
Well, and I don't want to be on the show and throw realtors under the bus, but a lot of realtors, frankly, won't bring attorneys in, and they won't necessarily recommend an attorney for that very reason, and for good cause, because they recognize not only is the attorney going to blow up the deal potentially, but they're going to do it on bad advice. At the end of the day, I recognize in every transaction, the two parties want to close the deal. That's what they want.
Right. So Ron, why wouldn't an attorney blow up a deal? Why is there that fear that if you get an attorney involved, the deal's going to go south? I have the exact opposite impression of that. Been doing this for a long time. To me, I like it when attorneys are involved because I'm talking to somebody that gets it. They're educated on their line of work. In this case, real estate closings or real estate documents and transactions. They know what the boilerplate documents are that are standard documents. They'll know that they're just standard documents that need to be in there. What do they really mean to the average client? Nothing, but the attorney can explain it properly, and I don't view attorneys as deal wreckers. I never have, and I never will.
Well, that's because, Harry, you're ultimately looking at it after the best interest of the client. A lot of times professionals ultimately aren't doing that, and they're looking to close the deal to make a commission or to get paid. And for me, it's a function, again, going back to the basic premise. The other thing I would tell you is there's a certain exposure level for attorneys, because when an attorney gets on the deal, I tell clients, if I spend $500, $600, $700 doing
There's no way. Are we done? Go ahead. I keep talking.
I was going to say, ultimately, if you spend $500, $600 to have me make sure the deal is correct, I'm taking on that exposure. I've got $1 million malpractice policy that's basically saying if I made a mistake, you're covered.
Well, I love dealing with all the attorneys, real estate professionals around. I think the more experts you can have, the better it is, because that way they can explain to their client properly.
But to the point earlier, Harry, at the end of the day, if an attorney gives bad advice, he's on the hook, and that's why he's going to basically try to close the deal or not close the deal if there's an issue.
All right, Ronald, we're going to have you back. You're on the hook every day. If you're in business, you're on the hook every single day.
Amen.
All right. Hey, that's going to wrap up our show. We have so much to bring us, so we'll have you back on. Ronald Thompson, just unbelievable. If you need some real estate attorney help, be sure to call us at Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll get you set up with Ron and his entire staff. Again, estates, trust, asset protection. And if you need that mortgage, be sure to call Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800-LOW-RATE. I'll tell you what, that wraps up our show. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket.
Preceding was a paid program. Views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of CBS Radio, its sponsors, or affiliates.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz for Capital Mortgage Funding. Rates are at historic lows, so what are you waiting for? Call 1-800-LOW-RATE and let our award-winning staff help you save money. Look, if you're looking to purchase a new home, refinance your existing home, and you want to save money, call 1-800-LOW-RATE and take advantage of these historic low rates. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800-LOW-RATE. Capital Mortgage Funding is powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS ID number 2289, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Charles Osgood. 5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, Indeed is giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
HelloFresh delivers recipes and ingredients for a home-cooked meal in around 30 minutes. Like this recipe. Start with a working couple. Add 2 demanding jobs. Mix all too well. Receive HelloFresh delivery. Trim off temptation to order pizza. Follow step-by-step recipe on